Go. I hope this is working. Hey guys, it's Victor. Give me a Flake Man. And it is Thursday night. What is it? September the 14th, I think? No, 13th. September the 13th. That is not Maggie, but it kind of looks like Maggie. These are Maggie treats. These are Maggie treats. And I gotta tell you, the dog food in Japan, the dog treats, I mean, they are. I've actually had a couple. They're pretty good. It's amazing. I've often thought it'd be funny to put them out as party treats, and I don't think anybody would notice. But so tonight's an uncut blog. I'm just putting this up, just recording on iMovie on the Mac Pro, whatever laptop. And I want to tell you about my night, and it's just something that happened in my life that I want to remember this. I want to remember. So I don't care if you watch it. I don't care if this video gets 3 views. Of course, I know it won't just get 3, but the point is, I want to remember tonight, so let's get serious. So, it's my birthday a couple days. I got a bunch of bottles of liquor, because, people know what I like, right? I drink this stuff slowly. You guys, some people think I'm like an alcoholic because I'm just always drinking on cam, but that's just for you guys. I actually go days without drinking. And some days I drink every day. Oh, what is this? That's weird. Look at that. There's something in there. What the hell are you supposed to do with that? Can you still drink? Doesn't come out. Look. Oh, there it goes. Well, that's weird. What's the point of that? Hey, any people who work for McGregor. By the way, you might I'm pretty sure McGregor, wasn't he from Blade Runner? No, not Blade Runner. The one with the oh my God, Highlander, right? Highlander, right? Am I right? Which is kind of cool because that was like. Man, Sean Connery, back in the day, he was cool. Sean Connery and Clint Eastwood. And now Clint Eastwood is like just screwing up his whole legend. His legend is... His legacy. He's becoming all crazy. With this, anti-Obama shit, which is fine to be anti-Obama, but I just read the guy who did the interview of Clint Eastwood in Esquire. He did another piece on Clint Eastwood, and it just... Yeah, it just looks like Eastwood is just like, it doesn't make any sense, so whatever. I really admired him. I still admire. I mean, I love his movies, and I always will. You know what it was about him? He's a super tough guy in some of the movies, but he also went out of his way to play roles of men who got their asses kicked by women, like Play Misty for Me. Or there's another one, I don't remember what the hell it was called, but he's kind of a womanizer during the Civil War, and someone put in the comments, and he ends up like getting poisoned by the women that he's been screwing around with, and he gets his ass basically handed to him, and he deserves it, and he's willing to play those roles, and it's not a happy movie at all. And he's played a couple soft roles too, which I've always I've always admired him for. In fact, I admired him more for those than the tough guy roles. Though I guess as a young man who with fresh testosterone, scientists should do a test on this, but I'm pretty sure fresh testosterone is a lot more powerful than the kind of testosterone that we got flowing after you're 21. So, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, the reason I'm here tonight, right? Not for you, but for me to remember. Okay, let's see what happened tonight. So, kind of an early night at work today. My last class was a private class, and she canceled. So I went home early, and I was coming across the street with Maggie in my basket because I drive a little gay. Oh, God, I've been brought up so badly. A little effeminate bicycle with a basket, and I'm bringing a little dog, which is also effeminate, although she's a tough little bitch who could kick a lot of bigger dogs' asses. Anyway, we're coming across the street, and there's Yoko, my wife, and she's like coming home, and she's like, hi, and she's so happy and friendly, and mostly towards the dog, not really towards me, but you married men will understand. A little bit harsh, but completely drinkable. And we come home, and the neighbor is coming home, we've seen the neighbor, which we never see because she goes to bed like 8 o'clock, right? And we usually come home pretty late. And for the first time in like years, we come home, and Maggie's like in love with the neighbor because the neighbor is kind of smelly, and Maggie loves smelly people. So she's like, "Oh, it's her," and she goes and runs over her, and she's like, Maggie's funny. Like she doesn't realize she's a dog. She thinks she just owns the whole neighborhood. She just pops into her house. She's like, "I'm gonna go over there for a while." She like goes in there and runs around. And the neighbor actually buys. She doesn't have a dog, but she buys toys for Maggie. So whenever Maggie comes over, she has something to play with. So Maggie's gone for 10 minutes. So I sit down with Yoko, and we're relaxing a little bit, talking about our days and giving each other shit. And we have a little tiff because I tease her a little bit. I think I'm teasing. She's like, "That's not funny. You think that's funny? It's not funny," kind of stuff. So I'm upstairs. I'm doing weights. You know, I gotta work with what I got. You know, so I'm upstairs doing weights. There's an upstairs. That door leads to the upstairs. That fan blows wind in my face sometimes. Sometimes when I'm nude, no, that's not true. I think I did it once, but anyway. So I go upstairs and I'm pumping iron, and I'm feeling weak. You know, I don't know. Like usually I can do like 100 push-ups, but today I can only do like 60. I'm like, oh man, I'm weak, and I can usually do like 20 of these with the dumbbells, but today I'm only like, it's hard for me to get up to 14, you know, which is my minimum. I think I gotta do 14. But anyway, whatever. And Yoko comes up and she's like, "I'm going jogging, bye." I'm like, "I thought we were going together." And she's like, "No, I want to go alone." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I go back to weights because, you know, after being married for a while, you can't let petty squabbles get in the way of your goals. I mean, because they're gonna blow over. I mean, you're gonna make up with your wife, right? Because we're not getting divorced, right? Because we have a mortgage together, so forget that. And we got a dog together. If the dog dies and the house burns down, I got a chance at divorce. But until then, forget it. But anyway, then I come down and I think she's left. But I come down the dog and I hear the dog down. I'm upstairs doing weights, but I hear the dog like running around. Maggie's like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I go downstairs and she's playing ball with the dog in the kitchen. You know, she's like, well, our living room kitchen. That's the kitchen down there, and this is the living room. This is the whole first floor. There you go. Yes, we live in a little house. But we got 3 floors. Well, 2.5. But anyway. So, and way down there's a big bathtub, which is so sweet. So, I come down and I think, oh, I thought you left. And I said, honey, come on, I'm just teasing you. You don't have to get all mad. And she's like, well, I don't think it's funny. I'm like, hey, look, you know I love you. So, I mean, come on. You know I'm just teasing you. You gotta accept a little bit teasing. I mean, I'm not British. And if I were British, it'd be really bad because the British do a lot of shit. I think that it's like way beyond teasing. I'm like, I wouldn't take that shit. I'm kind of glad I don't live in England because I got a lot of British friends and they're like always like, what is it? Taking the piss out of you. But it's kind of like overboard sometimes. I don't know. Maybe they think that we're closer than I are. And I'm like, dude, you're British, you know. Nothing against British people. At least I'm not Canadian. Ooh. Anyway, just kidding. So we make up. And she's like, well, I'm going jogging. I said, well, and she looks at me. I said, well, do you want me to go with you? And she's like, if you want to. So we go. We leave Maggie. She knows the drill. I said, Maggie, you got to stay here. Orusuban. You got to say to the dog, Orusuban. That's your Japanese lesson for today. Orusuban. You say it to the dog. It means you stay here and kind of guard the house. Right? Spider-Man and Nagging Woman. I mean, Wonder Woman. We're going outside. So we're jogging here and there. While we're jogging, we didn't bring our watches or cell phones, right? I'm just carrying house keys. And Maggie, the bloodthirsty dog, is guarding the house, in case anyone's getting any ideas. And we come across this lady coming out of a house, and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder how long we've jogged, because I'm thinking 30 minutes is good, you know. And she comes out of the house, and she like jumps, which makes me jump. And I realize that I know her. I'm like, oh, hi. Like, I've seen her before somewhere. And I figure she knows me. But I realize she doesn't know me because Maggie's not with me. And that's a funny thing about having a dog is sometimes people will not recognize you without your dog. Is that funny? You think a Gaijin would be recognized, but maybe if I were blonde or something. I don't know. For whatever reason, perhaps I wasn't impressive enough. I did not strike her. I did not leave an impression on her for whatever reason. But anyway. But I recognize her because I'm not racist like that. And Anyway, but she sees I have a woman with me, which which makes her feel safe. And she's walking out with a little poodle who starts barking at me immediately, which makes me want to kick it, but I don't. Anyway, she tells us we've only been jogging like 8 minutes. So I'm like, oh shit, we got another, like, we're only 1/3 of the way. And so we jog some more. We're jogging some more. We both get cramps, but we're having a nice jog and we're talking. And then we're thinking towards the end, let's go over to the liquor store where we always see our favorite liquor store lady. And if you watch my videos, I'm sure you've seen her before, or at least on Give Me a Bone Dog channel. We often visit the liquor store with this. She's not actually a little old lady. She's older than us lady, and she's cool. She's really cool, and she's really nice. And she's always been. In fact, for my birthday, she gave me these huge steaks and this cake, which I guess I'll edit into this video right here and here. And she's just a wonderful woman. We just love her, and I think she loves us. Either that, or she feels really polite towards us. I'm hoping it's the latter, but she's a wonderful woman. And we walk into the liquor store, and she's on the phone on her cell phone. And we got the run of the place. We walk in. Maggie runs Maggie runs right past all the liquor. And she lives in the building, right? It's like a 3-story huge building, and the first floor is the liquor store. And the back of the liquor store is where she lives, and she runs all the way into the back. I mean, well, Maggie's not here, so that's me. I'm sorry. That's usually. So today Maggie's not with us because she can't jog, because she's got little short, stubby dwarf legs. And anyway, so I walk into the back and I look to see if any of the grandkids are there, because sometimes the grandkids are there, and we like teasing each other. I'm just a big kid with the grandkids. But nobody's there. But she's on the phone. She's on the cell phone, and she gets on the cell phone and she holds it up to me and says, "Look." And before I can even finish reading it, that's something funny about Japanese. They'll tell you something, and they'll kind of like, oh shit, lights went off. That's an automatic timer, in case we forget. Or I'm so drunk I can't reach the light switch. No, just kidding. That's an automatic timer. Anyway, so she something about Japanese that's funny is that they'll hand you presents that are wrapped, and then they'll tell you what's in them. Like, here's a present. It's a hat. It's a cake. Whatever. Like you're like, let me unwrap it. What's the surprise? So anyway, she shows me the cell phone, and before I can even read it, she says he died. And who is he? Well, it isn't that dramatic. It's just a dog, actually. But it's the reason that we started visiting that store. That the reason we became friends is because one day I was passing by with Maggie, walking Maggie in the neighborhood when we first moved here years ago. I guess it's been like 4 or 5 years now. And it didn't dawn to me. Dawn unto me. Dawn. What's the expression? It didn't dawn on me. That's it. It didn't dawn on me until until just 5 seconds ago. 25 seconds ago when I made this video. Yeah, the reason I met this woman is because I was walking Maggie alone one day. Yoko wasn't with me, and I saw another dog in her liquor store. I would never have dreamed of walking into her store with a dog, because most stores don't allow dogs, especially establishments that trade beverages and foods, and she has some foods in there as well. And I saw this Ryukun, Ryukun is a long, I guess medium-haired, I don't know, it's not long-haired, I guess it's medium-haired Dachshund, those sausage dogs. And I saw him in there with his owner, an older guy. I don't even know what his name is, but I've talked to him like 100 times. He's like Ryukun's otosan. He says, Ryukun's father. So, yeah, because of Ryukun, I went in there. I said, is it okay for me to come in as well, with my dog? And she's like, yeah. And, luckily, I do enjoy the spirits, so I was actually able to make a purchase, and I had reason to come back. So I told Yoko, I said, hey, I found a place where we could take Maggie, Maggie can go walk in. And she's like, oh, that's cool. So I brought in Yoko and Maggie a couple days later. and introduced them. I don't think I actually knew really the woman, but I knew that we were allowed in, so we went in, and that's how we became friends. And little by little, we started talking more and more, and then we met the grandchildren and her children, and we became friends, and they invited us over for this and that, and I'll be honest, I mean the novelty of a foreign friend, I think, had something to do with it at first. But the primary trigger, spark to this relationship was actually the dog thing. But of course, the kids, they'd ask me questions like, "Hey, Victor, is everybody in America rude and interrupt people when they're talking?" And they were talking about me and my wife. Because I would interrupt her, right? I was just trying to practice my Japanese. And I admit, I'm kind of a little bit rude that way. I'm trying to be better. But they would say things like shit. Oh, they would bring us food. And I would just dig in. And the kids were like, "Does everybody in America just jump into the food like that so impolitely?" I'm like, I think my wife's okay with it. She's okay. But, anyway, but the thing about this dog, let me get back to the dog, because it's really the reason I'm making this video. This little dachshund would come by all the time, and we would go by all the time. So, we started overlapping. And Maggie, to be honest, doesn't get along with other dogs, but she learned to get along with this dog because it was early, and this is kind of this dog's territory. Ryukun had been at that liquor store before Maggie. I guess the smell of her was everywhere. But they kind of became friends, and then they kind of became, well, you know what it was? Is they kind of learned to accept each other's presence in the bar. Not the bar, the liquor store. And, but this dog was amazing. This is like the smartest, best trained, well, for a Dachshund. I mean, it can't like do a lot of things because it's short. Each leg is like this long, its legs are really short. So, but this dog would like take a poop, and then the owner would wrap up the poop in a bag and give it to the dog, and the dog would carry its own poop home. And sometimes the owner would like prepare a little bento, a little lunchbox for the dog, and the dog would carry the bento all the way to the store. Now, the only thing Maggie is capable of carrying is like a big soccer ball or something, because she's just that way, She's not interested in like doing anything really smart like that. But this dog was really smart, and it didn't need a leash. The other thing about this dog that was amazing was he would wander the streets following the owner while the owner bicycled or walked. And this little Dachshund would follow the owner. And this dog is 13 years old, okay? And when we met her, I guess she must have been, whatever it was, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So she must have been already 8, 9, 10. So, long story short, the point being, this dog was damn smart. And the other thing about this dog was that I don't want to say this. The owner is not wasn't real friendly about the dog. Like, he kind of treated in front of people. It was one of those things like in front of people he kind of treated the dog like shit, like he didn't care. And there were a couple times when we met him, we'd say, "Hey, how's your dog?" And he would make the joke like, "Oh, he's dead." And we fell for it a couple times, like, "Oh." And he's like, "No, I'm just kidding." Like, isn't that a bizarre joke to make? How's your dog? He's dead. So, the owner was kind of a jerk, to be honest. He's kind of a jerk. But this evening, we got to the liquor store, and the woman, the liquor store owner, is on the phone, and she says, "Ryukun died, and I just talked to my grandchildren, and they want to say goodbye. So he's going to bring the dog to the store. He's going to bring the dog to the store, and my grandchildren are going to come, because of course they live in a different house. They're going to come and say goodbye." And we were in that weird ambivalent or kind of mixed feelings situation where what should Yoko and I do? I mean, we like the dog, but it feels kind of weird to like stick around and wait for a dead body to arrive. Because what was going to happen was the owner of the dog, the old guy, the guy, the jerk, kind of the jerky guy, is going to come and bring the body to the liquor store, and then the grandchildren are going to come and, you know, say goodbye, I guess. And I was like, I really don't want to see this. And I mean, I'll be honest. Part of me was like, oh, where's my phone? Where's my iPhone so I can take a video? But immediately the other part said, dude, what are you? Hey, you camera whore. And he was right. You know, like I don't want to put that on camera. I don't want to film that. And I was telling Yoko, I said, maybe we shouldn't be here for this because this is not really, we didn't really know that dog that well. I mean, we were impressed and we'd met him tons of times, but this is, I mean, he just died. This is kind of a private moment. Maybe we should go home. And just as we decided this, the liquor store owner said, here he comes. And so he started, you know, he was coming on the bicycle. And he had this, you know, little bicycle. And in the bicycle, in the front basket, he's got Ryukun. And Ryukun's dead. Lying on some kind of, I don't even know what it was. It's not even a towel. It's kind of like a mat or something. And he's like, you know, like this big. Not that small. Long, you know, long. And the old woman immediately picks him up in her arms and takes him over to the counter where people like purchase liquor and puts him right there. And I can see the old man's eyes. He's been crying, you know. And he immediately goes to the bathroom. I don't think he expected us to be there. And he's crying. And the old woman's crying, and Yoko starts crying. And to be honest, yes, I'm crying too. So everyone's crying. But the old man's in the bathroom crying. And then he calls someone. He comes out and he calls. I think he gets a phone call. And he's like, yeah, it's, you know, he says the name of the store. He says, look it up on, like Google or something. It's this store name. There's a sign outside. And he tells us the woman who gave him the dog is coming to say goodbye. And she lives in Nakamura-ku, which is kind of a different ku away from us. But she's, you know, coming to say goodbye. A different ward. Different neighborhood, anyway. So about 5 minutes later, this big van drives by. And this woman slowly pauses and drives by and looks out the window and pauses and looks at us. And it's her, you know. And I didn't really get a good look at her at all. But then she walks in to the store and she walks immediately to the dog. And the weird thing is that we're all petting this dog. We're all like rubbing it. And this dog is dead, you know. We're all like rubbing it. And which seems kind of weird to me, but he's still warm. He just died, like literally, like less than an hour ago. I think he died like 7:45, and it was like 8:30 when we got there. And she's leaning over him, and just to give you an image. I didn't really see her face from behind at first, you know, and she's like an angel. She's got long brown hair, and she's wearing like a black jumpsuit, kind of with her, but it's like cut off at the calves, and she's got just perfect skin, like on her arms and legs, and she's got like her arm here, her sleeve is like this far, right under here. She's got like part of a tattoo just coming out, and she's leaning over the dog, petting it and crying. And I'm standing behind her. And it's kind of a beautiful sight in a way, but of course it's also extremely sad. And she's in great shape. Like I don't know what she does, but try not to sound lascivious, but I don't know how to say that without sounding lascivious. Anyway, so but the most important thing is she's crying. She's just crying. And they talk a little bit. And then the kids arrive. And the mother of the kids, who we also know, who's actually around our age, she won't come in. She's like, I don't want to see the dog because I can't deal with it. Which I don't blame her at all for being that way. But the kids come in and the boy is like, hey, what happened? You know, I don't think it really dawns on him. But the girl, she's a little older and she's all crying and then the bar owner, the older woman, she goes into the back a few minutes, comes back, and she's got like a iron black candle holder, and she takes out a white candle, and puts it on there, and then she's got a whole box of incense, green incense, and there's nothing to like put the incense on, so because you know it's the kind of the office counter section of a liquor store. And she leans back and she grabs a clip that's sitting on the counter and just leans it there against the side and puts the incense there and lights it, of course. And everyone just kind of hangs out and chats. And after a while, things kind of calm down a little bit. And actually, they start to reminisce and they talk about how the woman who gave the dog to the old man the dog was 1 year old then, and now he's 13 years old. And wow, isn't that cool? You know, he really got big, and he was really smart. And I try to like comfort the guy. I mean, just to show my respect, I pat him on the back and I say, go show some of this stuff. But he doesn't really. Although we're actually pretty friendly, he doesn't react at all. But then the kids, you know, they got to go home, and we take advantage of that. And we thought, well, okay, this is good. We should leave too, you know. We all walk out together. But then the old guy turns to me, and he, like I said, he's kind of a jerk, but he says, "Thank you very much." And well, I got to back up a little bit. He told Yoko like 15 minutes before that. He said, "This will happen to Maggie too someday, you know." And I joked with him. I said, "No, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go before Maggie, so you guys can like, you know, treat me the same way." But you know, I often look at Maggie and I'm sad because I know she's going to die someday. And damn it, why does she have to die? You know? And I know I'm going to regret not paying more attention to her. And you know what? I'm going to regret probably making these fucking YouTube videos when I should have been playing with her. So they kept talking about, yeah, this is the... I just dropped the computer and caused the video to stop suddenly. Which is just as well, because I guess I was getting a bit emotional. But yeah, so that's part of life, huh? The good thing about this old guy, though, was he said, and I think this is good, you know. I mean, I felt really bad for him. He was crying and stuff. His eyes were all red, and he's like a blue collar worker. You know, I don't know what he does exactly, but he's always dressed in like that kind of work clothes. He's an old guy, but he still has a job. He's alone, except for the dog. I think he got divorced or something years ago. But, he's not like an alcoholic or anything, you know. In case you're wondering, I mean, you know, who knows what happened, but he's alone, him and his dog. And he comes by and hangs out with the old lady, who's a widow. I don't think there's anything between them, but that's not really relevant. He's alone, and I felt bad for the guy, but you know, he's a survivor. He said, "I can't be alone. I'm going to get another dog." I'm good. You know, I kind of think he's a jerk sometimes because he kind of treats that dog so, you know, badly. But I know he loved the dog, and I know that dog loved him. Here, and this is the thing I got to tell you. So this morning, the dog. So he knew the dog was sick, so he came by the liquor store and he said to the woman, "Can you please look after him, Ryukun, because you know." He's been really bad recently, and I got to go off to work. I don't want him to be alone. And so she did. You know, he laid down in the back room of the liquor store. And he ate a little bit of food. And he kind of peed himself, you know, because he's old and dying. He wasn't doing good. And that evening she tried to give him more food, but he kind of just tried to eat, but not really. And he came by and picked him up, you know, that night. Like I said, like an hour and a half before we got there or so. He took him home. You know, the old man took Ryukun home. And very soon after, he died. So it seems like the dog was waiting for him to come home, you know. Before going, I'm gonna wait. As a kid growing up, I was really affected by those like dog books, you know, Old Yeller and Where the Red Fern Grows and stuff. So, well, needless to say, I'm a dog person, and I'm a sentimental old fart. But anyway, I want to remember this day and what happened. And what time is it now? Jesus, it's 12:30, and I'm gonna wait until this video uploads and just send it on its way. But if you have a dog, you know, the stupid thing was we came home and Yoko's like talking to Maggie, and Ryukun died today because you know, she knew him. Maggie knows the dog, so. But Maggie just wanted to play with her new toy, which is a rubber chicken someone gave her. Where the hell is it? I don't know where it is, but she's got a rubber chicken now. So good for her. Isn't it great to not know about stuff like this? I don't know. But you know, the good thing is, and this is going to sound really, maybe arrogant, I don't know, but I think when I die, I think I'm going to be okay. You know, I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I'm going to be okay. I just hope my wife's okay. I'll make sure she knows it's okay when I go. But when Maggie goes, it's not going to be okay. That's for sure. There's nothing I can do about that. And that's what happened in my life. And I got to check again, just in case. September 13th. Although now it's September 14th. Good night.